Hello, everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the SM Football Marks podcast, presented by Palace Off the Top Rope. I'm here this week with Abraham Trevino. We're back zooming. Haven't been face-to-face yet, but don't worry, folks, Super Bowl's coming, so we got some stuff in the works. Divisional round wrapped up. My heart broken this weekend. What's up, Abe?
Hey, what's going on?
Everybody's been calling this. I said this before, any of the games started, and I always say it every year. Divisional weekend of football is always the best weekend of football. And this year could not have been any more truer, with practically every single game coming down to the wire. Basically, all of them were they were all walk-off games. So it's incredible. How you been, man? How'd you enjoy the games this weekend?
A little heartbroken on the Bucks game, but I'm telling you, but what a comeback, right? Tom Brady pulled.
We'll get to that right now, but could I get rid of my my wrestling rant here and I need to get this on my chest because I've been holding it in until I didn't even do it on my Facebook Live. I kind of tampered myself. I knew we were going to do this show, even though by the way, just floozy by me. I've been all dazed and just already getting into vacation mode. So I totally forgot we were supposed to record this yesterday. So that's a fail by me, but we're still getting this done. But my attention right now is to you, Los Angeles Rams. To me, you're not a championship contender. Look at you. Y'all were cheering and jumping around Sunday after you beat the Bucks on a walk-off. Do you guys realize you were up 27-3 on those guys? Brady could not do anything. The only way you beat Tom Brady is if you can't protect him. And he was without Tristan Wirfs, which I said going into that was my biggest concern. If he didn't play, that was going to make the entire game. And certainly that's exactly what happened. Brady could not get anything done. So they went down 27-3. But you guys should have put it away super early. But yet for some reason, y'all made it a game and they came all the way back. It's was I in 2017 again watching Super Bowl 51? Is this what I'm reliving right now? Are you kidding me? I thought that was lightning in a bottle. So Los Angeles Rams, congratulations on moving on, but you survived that game. You didn't win. You survived because Tom Brady almost made one of the greatest comebacks in history yet again. That would have been the biggest comeback since Super Bowl 51. So 49ers, if you're listening to this, my fans out there, Facebook, that are 49ers fans, Baxter, JB, freaking Paco, you guys show up in droves, manifest that shit for the 49ers for them to win, because to me, the Rams are not championship contenders. Sean McVay, you celebrating Fugazi, you're going to get what's coming to you. Karma's coming. You became so arrogant. Remember against the 49ers? Remember that when you were jumping into the end zone, celebrating that touchdown when you were up 17-0 on that team, and then they came back and beat you. So just remember that. Just remember that. And remember that Tom Brady almost came back and got you to at 44 years of age. The freaking MVP in my eyes. Stats and all that shit, what he was doing at his age, that's MVP to me. That's unprecedented, but everybody's looking at it like it's just another season. So Fugazi Rams, you're not a championship contender to me, although I do like Cooper Kupp. You're a baller. You should be in consideration for MVP. But everybody else, I hope the Rams get theirs on Championship Sunday. Rant over. I feel so much better now. I've been holding that in since Sunday.
I want to, going into this Rams and the 49ers game, I always felt bad for Stafford when he was back in Detroit, because I'm just damn, this guy's
why he had Megatron at one point.
I know, and he had Pettigrew, good tight end, and this and that. But
Tom Brady had Danny Amendola and Chris Hogan one year. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to see the Rams represent at SoFi Stadium for Super Bowl, because I don't want Stafford to get that Super Bowl. That's probably me being petty. But I definitely don't want OBJ to freaking get that. He didn't work for that. He cried himself out, or he cried his way out of Cleveland, blamed it on Baker Mayfield. Aaron Donald's a great person or a great defensive player, but I don't want Stafford to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't really, I don't feel bad for him too much, but I don't want OBJ in the Super Bowl. I don't know if that makes any sense. The
Well,
Niners,
I'm with you on that. Can I just say real quickly though, the only counterpoint I have to that is if it ends up being like the Chiefs and the Rams, I'm all in for like I'm all for Matthew Stafford getting a ring over Patrick Mahomes because the
well,
last thing I want to hear is how Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time now, just because he should have 4 Super Bowls, right, according to everybody else. But
right.
he lost one already to the GOAT. But I don't need to hear all that talk. So that's the only
If
counterpoint I have for that.
Yes, you're right. Let me reiterate that. Yes, if the Chiefs end up by so means making it to the Super Bowl, then of course I want the Rams. If the Rams take out the Niners, then I would definitely want the Rams to win because I don't want Mahomes to win that championship. And for that idiot out there, we all know who it is that says that Mahomes is the next GOAT. Like, no, like you can't tell somebody that they're the next GOAT. If that's the case, then Aaron Rodgers should be the next GOAT if Tom Brady retires. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we labeling this guy Mahomes because he does a sidearm fucking throw? I mean, who gives a shit about that? The guy played baseball, so of course he has like that. He's used to throwing like that. But I mean, who gives a shit? Like, you know, I really hope it's not the Chiefs. Let's not freaking say it is. I'm just gonna go with my gut and say that we'll go with our picks, of course, and of course we already know who we're gonna go with because we're just saying it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it happens to, let me tell you this, Robert. If it happens to be like let's just say hypothetically, if it's Rams and a Chiefs Super Bowl, I don't even know if that's. I mean, I guess I'm gonna watch, but I don't think it's something that I'm gonna be excited for. I mean, I guess I would see how like the first and second, how the first half would go, and that would determine if I'm gonna even want to watch like the second half. Now if it's Niners and Bengals in there, oh hell yeah, I'm in for that.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, if it's like Rams, I mean, if it's Niners and Chiefs, I'll watch it because Niners defense will probably do what the Bucks did to Mahomes.
Right.
You know what I mean? As far as like making him run all over the place, and I don't think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be able to like hold Mahomes to like limited stuff. You know what I mean? You remember how like he couldn't get past the 50 like on their turf,
Right.
because Tampa Bay was just like straight up running at him, and forcing him out of the pocket, and to where he ended up like re-aggravating his ankle. Remember? So he was like just running and limping, and anyway, but I feel like the Niners defense would cause more havoc over the Rams. I don't know if that makes sense to you. I mean,
Yeah.
or if that makes like, a good pick, but I think the Rams D would be a lot better to kind of force if Mahomes, moves on. I think that that Niners defense could probably, have him be scrambling and maybe
Mhm.
get some quarterback pressures, of course, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not a Rams and Chiefs. Hopefully, we get what we're wanting because we obviously didn't get who we picked in the very beginning. We both picked a Packers team that was steamrolling after that first loss and was scary, and then we picked a Pats team that emerged in the second half and just was dominating. They were dominant, and then going into the playoffs, I had, high hopes for them, and then shit, everything just changed.
At this
But I
point,
mean, that's
we should have just stuck with our original Super Bowl bet, or not bet, but like our prediction, which was Bucks Chiefs again, because at
yeah.
least like at this point where we're at now, at least one half of it would have been right with the Chiefs having the possibility of going back to back Super Bowls.
But it just shows you how like things change,
Oh yeah, that's what's
quickly.
great about the NFL is like, for a moment there, like the Patriots were the talk of the NFL. For a
Yeah,
while, it's like, oh, the Bucks are going to repeat, and for a while, it was like, oh, whatever, is Aaron Rodgers unstoppable? And once we get to the
yeah,
playoffs, like shit, the 49ers can make claim and say like, we own you because he's
right.
0-4 against the 49ers in the NFC playoffs. Let's put a cap on divisional round weekend. Let's talk about the rest of the games and just your summarization on them. Let's start with Bengals Titans. I didn't get to see this one. This one I was at work, so I didn't hear about it till I got text from my dad saying like unbelievable that they upset at the Titans Did you get a chance to watch that game, or
I,
your thoughts on it?
I I was here at work. I know I turned on my ESPN alerts just for this game, so that way I can tell who is like doing what.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I saw like I got a notification where it was like unbelievable. Like I think it was like an 85-yard bomber or something like that to AJ Brown, and I think I saw at one point it was I think like 16-6 if I'm correct, and then I think
Yeah.
it got tied up with that AJ Brown bomber, and then I was looking at it, and I think it was Tannehill that threw a pick or fumbled,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I think they won by that field goal, right? It was like 23-20. Because
Right. What was?
I know it was
No, go ahead.
no, I know it was tied. I mean, we didn't have CBS here. I wish we would have had it so I could have watched at least some of it. But from the looks of it, I mean, it just looked like more of like usual, like Tannehill, right? Like
Bad
typical
Tannehill.
Tannehill that,
Yeah.
like typical Tannehill uh, that would go and either make a mistake or what. And it looked like I think Derrick Henry only had like 32 yards of rushing on 15 attempts. So I mean, he wasn't a factor because of like his ankle because it was. I mean, I don't think it was fully healed, but I mean, he wasn't effective. I mean, everybody was making a big thing that oh, he's coming back, or he's back, so watch out. But they ended up just being Cincinnati dominated.
Isn't that an indictment of Tannehill though? Because wasn't there like a record set for how many times Joe Burrow was sacked in that game? Like 9 times,
It was 9 times that he
and
was
he
sacked, and
still won.
then
Like that's incredible.
yeah, so yeah, I just typical Titans. I mean, I feel bad for Vrabel because he's a good coach.
So out of the 4 teams left, like is Joe Burrow number one on your list that you want to win a Super Bowl? Like he's ranked number one for me. Then I got Jimmy G, and then Stafford, and then Mahomes. I just mean personally who you want to win. Do you have anybody yet that you have on your list to win the Super Bowl out of the Final Four?
Out of
Out of who's
last
left?
week's matchup,
No, out of who's
oh,
left?
left now. Who do I
Is Joe
think?
Burrow at the top?
I think yes. I'd like to see the Bengals actually make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they've come this far,
Right.
and look at what they've accomplished. Look at what they've done as a team. This is a young team, and you know, I'd like to see them. I don't. I mean, change is good now that the Bucks aren't going to be represented in the NFC, and yeah, the 49ers have represented in the past, but it's not consistent like every year where it's like 49ers, 49ers. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want it to be the Chiefs. I'd like it to be the Bengals and the 49ers. I think that would be good because I mean they're both young teams, right? You know,
Yeah.
I
I think
know, I
it
know.
would be hard for me because it would be hard for me if there was a matchup like that because I always like there to be a villain in the Super Bowl. Like a Bengals Rams would be interesting because it's the powerhouse like money team of the Rams. They bought all these star players, traded for an upgrade at quarterback versus like an up and comer like with a team that nobody thought at the beginning of the season. Nobody thought they were even going to be ranked number one in their division. Pretty sure everybody had them ranked third or fourth
Oh, the
because
Bengals.
was high on the Browns, and then the Ravens are always up there, and then the Steelers, like Mike Tomlin gets it done regardless of the fact. So nobody had the Bengals as a possibility for the Super Bowl. Same thing I think for the Niners, even though early on I did have them like ranked high, but then once the season started, it was like, oh, maybe it's just not their year. And then they just went on this incredible run. So I would like for there to be like, or even if it's the other way, if the 49ers make it, I would kind of want it to be the Chiefs because wouldn't that be a great story of Jimmy G and this team overcoming over, I'm sure if that's the matchup, like the Chiefs are going to be favored like by a touchdown or more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so let's just say the Niners make it to the Super Bowl. Let's just say the Niners win the Super Bowl. What do you do now? Because I mean, it seems like Jimmy G was playing, like as if it was his last in the San Fran uniform. So okay,
Right.
so okay, so he takes you to the big dance, you win it. So what do you do now? Like, I mean, you got it. I mean, are you going to let him walk? I mean, I think you and I talked about this last week
Somebody,
on off the air. I mean,
yeah.
are you going to let him walk?
I got
And
a
then
scenario.
now
I
it's
got a
like,
scenario for you, Abe. If you want to
yeah,
indulge me for
let me
just a
hear it.
minute.
Let me hear it. Let me
So
hear it.
I saw this on, I think it was Pro Football Talk or somewhere, and there was something pointed out by, I forgot who it was. He was like, "What if Tom Brady doesn't want to play in Tampa next year? What if he wants to like finish off somewhere?" And it's like, imagine a trade proposal where you would send like either Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady finishes off his career with the 49ers with a team that's kind of built already to like go win a championship. And it'll make even more sense if they win the title this year. What would you think of that?
I think that, I mean, that could be something that could be in play. I mean, and then Godwin's a free agent. So what if Godwin signed over at
Yeah.
San Francisco with
Brady with
Debo
Kittle
Samuel
and Debo Samuel and
and Brandon Ayuk?
yeah.
Hey, I mean, that could be a possibility. Um,
I don't know. It's
geez, I
interesting,
mean,
but
but
either way, I don't know. I mean, let's say the Niners win the Super Bowl. Like, I think either way, I think they're going to look to either because Jimmy G will be a commodity no matter what. So it's not like the Niners won't get anything for him. Like there'll be a team out there that'll be in need, whether it be whoever. Like who's going to need a
yeah,
quarterback?
but hold on real quick, Robert. But so that means if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl for you for the 49ers, like, I mean, they're gonna do him dirty and trade him. I mean, is that what you do? I mean, I know you. I saw Trey Lance play a couple of games. I mean, yeah, he didn't look the best, but that's because he's fresh.
Yeah,
But so you mean to tell me that this guy Jimmy's only 26 years old? So
right.
you mean to tell me you're gonna let this guy go after winning your Super Bowl, and you're gonna risk everything and put everything on this Trey Lance kid, in which we don't know what he's capable of.
Yes,
Um,
because the pressure would be off because they would have accomplished their goal, right? Because that was the whole thing. They get Jimmy Garoppolo from the Patriots. Shanahan comes on board, and John Lynch gets that crew set up together. They win a ring, like they accomplished their goal. Like, and let's say Tom
yeah,
Brady's there. Let's say that scenario happens. Like, the fans aren't going to be mad.
I understand that, but you do know. Okay, so if Tom Brady does go to and I'm not against it. I'm just not opposed to it because I think he should just finish out over in Tampa because that's where he wanted to go,
Yeah, yeah.
and everything was built around him. Arians was there, your tight Gronk went back over there. You got your receivers, you got the running backs. I mean, you're still kind of set there, and you got the defensive players that are going to come back or that are back, and um, so what I'm saying is that, okay, so you do get Tom Brady to go to San Fran, but it's only going to be for 1 year, Robert, because I don't think Tom Brady's going to sign on a 3-year contract. Like, this
Right,
could
but
be like this could be a year. So that means that it's a make or break. So you trade off 2 young cats for Brady. You better hope that he takes you to the Super Bowl and you win it again then, because
wouldn't it
that's
have all been worth it? Let's say that all plays out perfectly, right? You get 2 Super Bowls out of it. Like, I think it's worth it. It's a win
no,
now
yeah,
league.
no. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying about Tom Brady. I'm saying that, like, so if he goes to San Fran, then San Fran needs to support it and make it worth it, because like I said, you're sending 2 young guys off in a trade. So if you're getting Tom Brady back in a return, then it better be because
Dude,
you're
John
gonna
Lynch will
go.
go all
Hey,
in.
you're
You know that. Like, John Lynch actually made the call to Belichick and asked about Brady, and Belichick laughed him off. Like, that's how serious he was. Like, he'll go all in. And
yeah, you almost
there's gonna be a bunch of amazing free agents. Like, I was looking at a list of cornerbacks, like JC Jackson's gonna be out there for the
yeah.
Pats. Like, there's a bunch of cats out there. Like, if Lynch can pull up together another like little mini super team or whatever, or just sign a lot of good free agents, and that's enticing. But again, it all hinges on whether Brady plays again or not. And we'll talk about
Well,
that a little bit later.
that's also true. But I mean, at the same time, what if the Bucks reach out to J.C. Jackson and they're like, hey, come over here.
Yeah,
When you
that's what
got
I'm saying.
J.C.
Like, it all
Jackson
hinges
over
on whatever
in
happens with
Tampa,
Brady.
yeah, that's true. So
But
I mean,
but but taking Brady out of it, I still think Jimmy Garoppolo's on his way out. Like, because they're not winning because of him. Like, he's doing whatever he has to do, and there's been some mistakes, but like,
right.
he's not the sole reason they're winning. Like, it'd be one thing
Okay.
if it was
Well, I
like,
mean,
oh, it'd be one thing if like Garoppolo was like, oh, this guy's throwing like, let's say he threw 5 touchdowns in the Green Bay game or whatever, and 4 TDs against the Cowboys. Like, you can make a case like, hey, why are you getting rid of this guy? Like, he's fucking performing. But
right.
like, imagine in the Cowboys game, like, he made a crucial mistake on that what was it, that false start or whatever, where he didn't let that
Right.
lineman set up and like gave the Cowboys another opportunity. It's like, ugh, like little mistakes like that. Like, and plus he's still injured. Like, that's one of his like
Yeah.
that's one of the things
Yeah.
that everybody always gets on him is that he's always injury prone.
Yeah. He's injury prone. Yeah. And I know he's playing with that thumb. So yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess so. I mean, um, I guess it makes sense to get rid of him anyway because you got that young guy Trey Lance. So I
Yeah,
mean, what was the whole point of drafting him if you're not going to use him? And
right.
then so
Like,
yeah, it
they
makes
moved up
perfect.
to get him, right? They moved up to get
Yeah,
Trey Lance.
they actually did move up to get him.
But
So
the whole talk should
I
have been
mean,
Mac Jones, baby.
man, can you imagine if? Yeah, well, the 49ers. I think I even told you at one point where there was like a story saying, like, what if the 49ers got drafted Mac Jones? What then? I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of people. I mean, Mac Jones slid, and a lot of people. Shit, I wish the Cowboys would have drafted Mac Jones when they had the opportunity to,
yeah.
and I think they went. Where did they go? Oh, they went Micah Parsons. But either way, I mean, that wasn't still a bad pick. But I mean, the Jets probably should have gone for Mac Jones instead of Zach Wilson. I mean, at this point. But I mean, hey, you know what? He's in a good spot now. With Belichick, so I think they'll be back next year. But anyway, going back to the 49ers, um, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, I guess Jimmy, if they do win the Super Bowl, I mean, I guess you could say he went off on a high note, and I'm pretty sure he will be a hot calamity like for other teams in need of quarterbacks like New Orleans and Washington football team.
Yeah. Denver will be
I think
Denver's a spot too. Like, just depending
so.
on whatever happens there.
Yeah, whatever goes on there, Denver, and I think maybe even Houston could probably be in play with that as well. And then, you just never know. So I mean, yeah, he'll end up somewhere, and he'll get some kind of money.
Carolina,
Um,
even? I mean, because Sam Darnold, is
yeah,
that the answer?
I mean, they thought he was, and I mean, we all know what happened there.
So I mean,
Um,
there's so many landing spots. So I think either way, this is good for Jimmy Garoppolo because you rather.
well,
I'm not saying that they don't want him on the Niners, but like if there's somebody
well, I
that's
mean,
going to pay money for him, like I'd rather go in that direction than stay somewhere where it's like, I don't know if my job's secure.
right. Well, I mean, if he does win the Super Bowl this year, I mean that's just going to help boost his resume. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it's like, hey, you've won 2 Super Bowls, you're only 26,
Yeah.
so let's see what you can do, like, over here with this team. I mean, I think like Denver would be a good step, maybe even Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a
Pittsburgh's
vacancy
another
now.
possibility.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has a vacancy now, and so the New
A
Orleans
lot
Saints.
of different opportunities.
Let me throw this out there to you real quick, Robert. So I saw a story or report where um, Cam Jordan is trying to make a pitch for Aaron Rodgers to join the Saints. So let's say if Aaron Rodgers does go to the Saints, do you think maybe Jimmy could probably? I mean, because I don't think Love is the answer, and I think Green Bay's kind of like hesitant on Love now. Like they're not really sold on him as being their future of the quarterback of that franchise team. So do you like see maybe you know Jimmy going there? Because to be honest with you, I really don't really see Russell Wilson leaving Seattle. I think they're going to patch things up. I think, they may get some players in the offseason and maybe beef up that offense or that team in general. And then maybe, he's like, okay, well, let me give it another shot. So let's just say Russell stays put. Did you see maybe Jimmy go to Green Bay?
Probably not. I don't see it. I think if Aaron Rodgers decides to leave, it's going to be a total rebuild. And let's say Jimmy wins the Super Bowl, I'm sure he's going to want to say where he wants to go. And depending, I mean, it also depends on the money, because if they give him a high number, he can't say no. But I don't think Green Bay does business like that. I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was the exception because it's Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know how much Green Bay would break the bank for somebody like him. But if he has a decent shot at money, whatever, Pittsburgh, Denver, he'll take it there, not in Green Bay.
Do you real quick? If Aaron Rodgers does go to Saints, are they back on the top of the NFC?
Yeah, because their defense is stout. And remember, Michael Thomas didn't come back and play, so you would get him.
Well, okay, but real quick, they've got free agents with high salary, so they might have to unload on Thomas. They might have. I think I also saw they might unload on Kamara.
I can see some of those guys. If you land Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to restructure and see what I can do to stay there. Because in that division you can own it still, because you completely dominated the Bucs even with Tom Brady. So there's 2 wins for you there. For as much as I love Brady and the Bucs, the Saints are in their heads for the regular season. There's just something that they can't get over the hump with them. So definitely Green Bay or New Orleans will be a threat again in the NFC.
All right, so Rodgers goes to New Orleans Saints, Brady goes to San Francisco. Are those two a lock for what would it be, the conference championship game?
Well, depending on what happens with the Rams, I don't know how many of those players are on a 1-year deal. Do they retain a lot of those?
So NFC championship, San Fran with Brady, New Orleans Saints with Rodgers. Could you see that? I mean, putting aside everybody else that's in that conference.
Oh, I mean, I could see it. I could see it happening for sure. I mean, folks, we're talking here hypothetically, so we're not being delusional. We're just talking hypothetical free agency.
Yeah, no. I didn't drink any back Kool-Aid. I'm talking hypothetical, because you're talking about maybe Brady finishes out over in San Fran, and then I'm also talking about Rodgers as far as the reports that I'm seeing that Cam Jordan is trying to make a pitch from the go to New Orleans Saints. Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, real quick, Robert, hypothetical, of course, let's just say the Rams do, beef up that wide receiver core by getting Godwin. Okay, and then you got Kittle coming back, and you got Mostert coming back from injury. And then over in the Saints, if they restructure Michael Thomas's $17.1 million cap hit this year and restructure that, also Alvin Kamara's, I think he's owed maybe 19 million. Mm-hmm. So you restructure those, because he was injured a lot this past season. So, I mean, if they restructure, stay with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, and of course they're going to also have to do a restructure on Cam Jordan, because he's 33 years old, making, some big money. I think 22.7, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on the numbers, but I mean, give or take about $1 million or $2 million. But, if they get Aaron Rodgers, then you're right. These players are going to restructure so that way they can, play at that caliber of the next level. Because, if you lose guys, I mean, either way with Rodgers, I mean, we saw what he did this past season where he had no receivers, none of his good receivers, and still won a game. And also, yes, I know it's because of the running game as well. But still, for Rodgers to play this game and win it with no top receivers, I mean, come on, that's kind of amazing. So my thing is, again, with San Fran, with what we're putting the quarterbacks in place, do you think that would be the NFC Championship?
On paper, yeah.
Yeah, on paper, of course.
On paper, yeah, absolutely. I could totally see it. And I'm already thinking about it. I mean, whatever. This is just fantasy, but imagine if Brady ends up going to San Francisco, he convinces Gronk to go with him. Gronk and Kittle on both sides.
That'd be it's a 1-2 punch.
That's incredible. I mean, I would love to see it happen, but I mean, again, folks, all hypothetical. We'll get into more of this later on after the season's over with free agency and stuff. Let's get back to the task at hand because we're still in this season. So let's stick with the Green Bay 49ers game. What a wacky finish on that one. What a weird score, but also like not that weird because 49ers defense is pretty stout. But what a wild like couple of minutes there with the blocked punt, them tying, and then Green Bay only putting up 10 points. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? After all that, I wasn't pushing for like the demise of Aaron Rodgers, but I was more agenda driven with Brady. But shit, like what a sour taste in Aaron Rodgers' mouth after that incredible season he had.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, look at they were a high scoring offense, Green Bay Packers during the season. But I mean, what does Robert always say? It doesn't matter. It doesn't count until the playoffs.
Yeah.
So either way, I mean, they were steamrolling every week after that freaking egg loss on the first week to the Saints, and then after that.
But also, towards the end of the season, weren't they kind of like right there for the taking? Like, Cleveland almost beat them. Baltimore should have beaten them. Like they were like on the ropes. Like they were a team that's like somebody could easily have their number. So I wasn't in on them being like a total favorite in the playoffs.
Well, not only that, but I don't know if you remember that game where they played San Fran. Like San Fran should have beaten them, but they left 33 seconds left on the clock, and then of course Aaron Rodgers came back, and then they won that game. So I mean, it was for the taking to beat the Packers, but it's just teams couldn't finish them out.
Yeah.
So
was it more bad Packers, or was it more credit to San Francisco stepping up to the challenge?
I think it was just. I mean, isn't it always okay? So correct me if I'm wrong, but usually when the top seeds have that bye, isn't it always when they come back from that bye where they have trouble because they were off for so long?
That's usually the case. I think the only exception to the rule was like the Patriots, because the Patriots always took care of business, even with the bye. But yeah, for the most part, like, because basically, like, the Packers had been resting really since that final game. Because I think in the second half of that Lions game, like, Rodgers didn't even play. So, like, he was basically off for like 2.5 weeks. So, yeah, I could say that definitely played a factor.
Well, I mean, to answer your question again, I just wanted to throw that out there because usually it's like whenever you have, like that first round bye and then you get that's another week off. But to answer your question, I'm going to say it's bad Packers because I mean, they just, even Aaron said, we only put up 10 points.
Yeah.
And they usually, they've been, scoring like high scoring, like maybe like late. Like low, like high 20s, high 30s.
Yeah.
And then to only get 10 points,
it's a letdown.
Yeah. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah. But it was a good game nonetheless. I caught the final minutes at work and I lost my mind just because, good for like stories like that, like the 49ers. And I'm always going to root for Jimmy G because he was a Pat first. So I'll always have that in the back of my mind. But I'm rooting real hard for the 49ers fans this weekend. We already touched on the Bucks Rams, or at least I did. Do you want to talk about anything else in that game, or do you want to talk about the final one, which was Bills Chiefs?
Just real quick on the Rams and the Bucks. I think I saw something or I read something on Twitter. It might have been Twitter, it might have been Instagram. But this fuck literally said, like, calm down. The Rams were just, or maybe it was on Facebook. I don't know. But I think I read something where like some like freaking doofus was saying, calm down. The Rams were just messing with Brady. Like the Rams weren't messing. The Rams weren't messing with Brady. Get the fuck out of here. Like this, it was Tom Brady making a comeback. And for them to, it was 27-3. And when I saw that, Robert, when I saw 27-3, and then I think I saw like 27-10 heading into the fourth, I was like, fuck, I can't believe this is happening. And I can't believe they're getting blown out like this. But then I was like, I look at my phone and it's 27-27. And I was just like, oh shit,
yeah.
Like what the hell? And, so I'm like, yeah, and, people out there and the people that listen to the podcast or to our podcast, like, Tom Brady is the fucking man. Like I've said it many times before. Tom Brady is the GOAT. And I had this one doofus, James. He's like, oh, you didn't know about, you weren't with Tom Brady like I was with the Pats. I said, motherfucker, like he just barely got with the Bucks. Like I've always said Tom Brady was the fucking GOAT, you know, and Tom Brady, I mean, Tom Brady dismantled my Cowboys many times, you know, the times that we played them.
Right.
You know, and real quick, an old story. I remember real quick, Robert, I'm going to go a little off topic. Well, I mean, it has to do with Tom Brady when he was with the Pats. And I don't know if you remember when the Cowboys signed Greg Hardy when he was with the Panthers.
Yeah.
So they were so high on this Greg Hardy guy, and Jerry Jones was like, you know, high on him and was like, oh, he's going to get like, you know, 15, maybe like 20 sacks and we'll sign him to a multi-year deal. And they hyped him up. And so we played the Pats and we played him in Arlington, and where the Pats came to Arlington, and, you know, got that one sack on Rodgers, and Greg Hardy was there flexing. And then after that, Tom Brady just like dismantled the shit out of us. You know,
didn't Greg Hardy make a dig at like Giselle too? Like during that whole week, there was like, so he said something about it, and I was like, nope, it's the wrong guy to mess with.
Yeah, so he did that one sack against Tom Brady, and then there he was flexing, and then turns out that idiot only ended up having 6 sacks for the year, and they dropped him. So I mean, anyway, Tom Brady is the GOAT, and I wish people would stop fucking like talking shit or just saying like, oh, like I can't wait for him to not play football anymore, because what happens when he's not playing football anymore? I mean, how's it going to be? You know, because it's for 22 years, it's been, you know, all right, Tom Brady, you know, and if he goes out, I mean, yeah, he has nothing else to prove. But I mean, if he's not, I mean, we're so used to him just playing.
Yeah.
You know, so we didn't say that about Roethlisberger. I mean, he needed to do that shit like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He finally came out of denial, and thank God he retired. And I mean, but we're not going to say that about Rodgers. Like, are we going to say, oh, we want Aaron Rodgers to play till he's 45? No, like I think Rodgers may have 1 or 2 years left in him.
Yeah.
You know, because Breeze played till 40, and I mean, even he didn't have a good last outing, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tom Brady, you know, is Tom Brady and so good at the game, you know, to where it's like, how is it going to be life after Tom Brady, you know?
So it's going to be super weird.
I know it's going to be hard I know it's harder on you because, you know, you're a Pats and all that. And I love Brady. I think he's a great quarterback, you know, and a lot of people were saying shit like, oh, if he came to the Cowboys, I wouldn't root for them. Bullshit. You know, if he had decided to go to the Cowboys with that fucking team that he had with the players, you mean to tell me you wouldn't root for him?
They're lying. They're a bunch of liars.
If Tom Brady signed with the Cowboys, I would have fucking, you know, I don't know how, but I would have managed to do a backflip or something. I don't know how the fuck I would do it, but I would do it because, I mean, shit, you know, the receivers that we have, the running backs, the tight ends, you know, I mean, hey, that line.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And
that playoff game would have been totally different. He would have.
Oh, hell yeah.
He would have ran that 2-minute drill like way differently.
I'm telling you, Tom Brady would. It doesn't matter how much time is left. I trust him, and I know he will do something. You know, and you know, with Dak Prescott, I mean, Dak Prescott wouldn't do that. Dak Prescott had 14 seconds and couldn't get shit going. Patrick Mahomes had 13 seconds, and look what happened.
But that was bad Bills. We'll get to that right now.
I know, but real quick though, if for the listeners, like, don't bash on Tom Brady. And I think it's just people that are hating because of everything that he's accomplished.
It's just envy. It's jealousy at this point because it can't be hate because you can't say like the other doofus that says, oh, Brady's like arrogant and cocky. It's like, in what way has Tom Brady ever been arrogant? He always talks good about everybody. He didn't even fucking say anything bad about Antonio Brown, who fucking threw him under the bus after he let that man into his house. And Tom Brady still said, hey, like, show him compassion. Like, in what part of that is Tom Brady arrogant? I get him being arrogant on the field where he talks crap, but that's just competitiveness on the field. Like, you can't fault him for that. Everybody's like that. But yeah, you know, I mean, if this is it, like, what a way to go out. Like, at least he went down swinging, right? Like, it wasn't like I would have been way more depressed if it was a rout. But the fact that it was almost Super Bowl 51 part 2, like, shit, like, even I don't know if you saw Eric Whittle, like they had him mic'd up after the game, and he was like, "Damn, Tom, like why'd you have to make it a game? Like why did you do that?" Like it was just a lot of admiration and appreciation. Let's talk about the last divisional round game. Then we'll get to the Brady possible retirement, and then we'll get to the final decisions on the championship Sunday. So Bills Chiefs was an insane, crazy game. Josh Allen, I'll even say Patrick Mahomes. You guys, they played lights out. Those guys were on fire. I'm not a fan of the score. Everybody loves it because it's Madden football, but I mean, what a disappointment from both defenses on giving up scores that quickly. Like, I mean, shit, I know Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady could do it, but at least I think their defenses would have put up some fight. Here it was like defense didn't even matter. Again, there was 13 seconds, but damn, like I cannot believe the Bills defense on that final drive with the 13 seconds that let Mahomes.
Well, here's the thing. So I think Tony Romo was commentating on that game. So he literally said, like, you have to not let Travis Kelce get up the middle. Uh-huh. And what happened? The first play, Kelce did a slant move right up to the middle. And
but was that in overtime or before overtime?
No, that was in order to get the field goal to go to overtime. So
that was the 13 seconds, right?
So yes, that was because that was when that was the 13 seconds because they needed to get into like I think the 40, 45 in order for him to.
Well, they messed up by not doing the bouncing kickoff instead of kicking it for a touchback. Like that was their first mistake.
Yeah.
Like that was bad play calling by whoever made that decision, which is probably Sean McDermott. He got what he deserved. But yeah, man, like that just shows you the inexperience of a coach like that. Like Belichick would have known not to do that and give Mahomes the ball with like that much time. And plus they had timeouts. That's the other thing. Like they didn't think about that.
Yeah, but that's why I was, and I felt bad, and I just was looking at Josh Allen on the bench.
He's the only one I felt bad for because he played just out of his mind.
Yeah, he played. He was just running all over the place. But it's just, I mean, I guess just bad coverage. Bad from the secondary.
There, I'm saying it's more bad Bills than like, oh my God, Mahomes did it in 13 seconds. Like, look at it in context, people. Like, yes, I'll give him credit because they drove the ball, but it was also like a bunch of like weird stuff that the Bills were doing. Like, it didn't add up, and it's like, why did they play it that way? But either way, we got our 4-team set. But before we get to that, let's talk about Tom Brady and whether or not you think he's going to retire. Gun to your head, Abe. What happens with Tom Brady this offseason? Does he come back? Does he retire? Does he go to another team? What happens?
Honestly, I think he retires.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to retire. I don't want him to. I'd like for him to. I don't want him to go to another team because, you know what, Robert? Remember how we talked about when he first got to the Bucs and they were kind of like wishy-washy because they all haven't played together. They didn't get to practice.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if it would be good for him to go to a new team. Let's just say like the 49ers, because then he's got to gel, and how long is that going to take? I mean, yeah, I know the pandemic isn't as big as it was when the NFL came back on.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, at this point, like, does Tom really want to go through that whole routine of learning each player or learning his players? The best bet is to either retire or stay at Tampa Bay because you already know the team. Like, you already know the players there. I don't think, if he was 39 years old, I'd say, okay, go to another team because he can learn that. But he's already, 44? So I really don't think that it's best that he goes to a new team.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. I mean, he could go to San Fran and play balls out, who knows, or lights out,
Here's my take on it, and I've been thinking about this for a while. and it kind of reminded me of Jerry Seinfeld. And when Seinfeld ended on season, I think it was like 8 or 9, it was his reasoning for ending the show. It was like they were still on top. They didn't like, there was no reason for them to end the show, but he was like, you know what? I want to leave the audience wanting more, and that's like the best way to leave, because why do you want to overstay your welcome and whatever, even though Tom Brady's like defied everything. But like,
Right.
wouldn't this be the perfect way to go out? Like, you had like one of your greatest seasons ever, and I know you didn't win it all, but the fact that you were this close and everyone knows you can still play, it wasn't like anyone was saying like, oh, it's because Tom Brady sucked or whatever. It's like he's still playing at a high level. Like, it's better to go out that way and leave people wanting more. And also, he said he didn't want a farewell tour or anything like that. So it would make sense to make people believe like, oh yeah, I'm going to play till 45 and play one final season, but actually make it like, no, it's actually going to be the season before. So I can see it as well. Like, I'm already mentally preparing myself for that fact. But would it surprise me if he came back? No. But it definitely will not surprise me if he retires. And I'm with you. I'm leaning towards that right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, so real quick, so how much of an impact do you think Tampa Bay will have on like either like, persuading Tom to come and play, again this year? Do you think they're going to try to do that, or you think they're just going to let him do his thing, and let him decide, and then just go from there? I mean,
oh, they're going to let him decide for sure. Like, they're on cloud 9, dude. They won the Super Bowl. Like,
well, yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, I've read a couple. I think I read like what Levante David had said. He said, that he wants Tom to come back. He's like, yeah, I want him to come back. Come on, dude, come back for another year. So I mean, what I'm saying is, I mean, I think sooner or later you're probably going to get his teammates, trying to come out on social media and be like, hey, they want him to come back, for another season. Now, if that happens, I mean, yeah, like I just said, I just saw Levante, or I read Levante David wanted him, saying for him to come back. I mean, if Tom sees something like that, do you think that it would make his decision, hey, let me go another year?
No, it's all going to be on his family. But then again, like, but the only thing I mentioned the Seinfeld factor, but also like Tom's obsessed with the game, and I don't think Seinfeld was obsessed with continuing that show. So that's the only difference, and why I can see him coming back is like, I mean, I know Tom Brady loves his family and everything, but it's also like, what's he going to do with his life if he's not playing football? Like, he's the one I kind of worry about. Like, not that he would like go into depression or anything like that, but it's like, man, like, you're the greatest ever, but like, you're so committed and obsessed. Like, how do you just like get rid of that, especially if you're still playing like at a good level?
He like had really good numbers,
That's what I'm saying. He should be the MVP over Aaron Rodgers, because what he did at his age is it's incredible. Like, nobody's done that ever, and everybody's kind of like shying that away. Like, I get Aaron Rodgers was great. Like, I get it, but how's that any different from any other year Aaron Rodgers has done this? Like, what Tom Brady did will probably never be done again.
No, and you're right. Tom Brady should get the MVP, not Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and yeah, not to discredit Aaron Rodgers, because I mean he had a great season as well. But I mean, you're right. Look at Tom's age. Look at what he's done. And it should clearly go to him. I mean, and he wasn't even injured.
Yeah,
like he didn't miss any games. Yeah, he got knocked around, but I mean, he didn't like puss out. He kept playing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I'd like to see him come back, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, football will continue, and we have all these young players, but like I said, life after Tom Brady. I mean, how will it be? How is it gonna be?
Yeah.
Where you don't see Tom Brady running out of the tunnel. You're not seeing him play. Like, how's it gonna be? So, and for non-Brady people, I guess it'd just be like another season or another day. But I mean,
They're going to be happy. They're going to be glee because they're like, because think about this. When they're writing the history of the NFL book, like look at all those dynasties that Brady, along with the Patriots, like that they stopped. Like how many Super Bowls would Peyton Manning have won if Tom Brady wasn't around? You know, would the Seahawks have been a dynasty if Tom Brady they didn't face Brady in the Super Bowl? You know, Patrick Mahomes would already be going to his, on his way to another Super Bowl with already 2 under his belt. And yes, people could start saying like, "Oh shit, he's on a road to like possibly, being one of the all-time greats." But Brady beat him too, so. And that would be another reason why I would want Tom Brady to retire, is because whatever Patrick Mahomes accomplishes, he can never say that he beat the greatest of all time, even way past his prime.
Yeah.
So we're both on the record saying that we both think he's going to retire, right?
Yeah, I think he is.
Okay. Well, I hope we circle back to that and we'll see what happens. Because again, the free agency plus this story plus the Rodgers story. It's going to be an incredible offseason. We'll do more episodes based on that.
Did you say that if Brady retired, that maybe Aaron Rodgers goes, or did you say Jimmy goes to Tampa? I know you said
I said Russell Wilson. I said Russell
Wilson. Okay. All right.
I could see that happening.
Russell
Wilson throwing bombs to Mike Evans. Woo!
That's true. I mean, what if Aaron Rodgers wants to get out of that freaking snow and go to the freaking Miami Beach? I mean, hey,
he's a diva. I don't think Tampa would want anything to do with him.
You hate Rodgers, just like you hate.
I don't hate Rodgers. I actually like Aaron Rodgers. I'm not on this whole thing like everybody was on him for the whole vaccination stuff. Like whatever. Like that's his own personal decision or whatever. Should he have lied about it? No, but it's also not the end all be all. Like like the way people have just made that their thing. Like if you're anti-vax, you're evil or whatever. Like, but that's people's own personal decisions. Like, whatever. Like I'm not anti-vax. I mean, I'm vaccinated, but that's not a deal breaker for me. I don't know. People are just stupid that way.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to our picks for Championship Sunday. We got to get to that.
Let's go.
All right, so the first game is going to be the Chiefs and the Bengals. That'll be the early game, or not early game, but it'll be like early afternoon.
Who
do you got?
I'll go ahead and get on. I'll take the Bengals.
And how do they win? You got to tell me, Abe. How are they going to win this game? What do they have to do?
I don't know if you saw the last game. They did beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium in overtime with the field goal. I mean, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon balled out against Titans defense. The Titans defense isn't, pushovers. That's a hard unit.
The Bengals defense, right?
No. The Titans, because I'm talking about Joe Mixon.
Oh, okay, got
offense. Right now I'm talking offense. Joe Mixon. Come on, Robert. I mean, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow,
But they gotta do a better job of protecting Burrow because getting 9 sacks again this time, that you won't win against Patrick Mahomes like that.
That's true. You're not going to win, but I don't think that defense is as good as the Titans defense. You got to remember the Titans defense was good. They're a good unit. I don't think the Chiefs will have that much success as far as having 9 sacks. I mean, they might have a couple here and there, but they're not going to have 9. The other. The receiving cores of the Bengals, that receiving core played a hell of a lot better than the Cowboys trios.
Yeah.
So the Bengals trios, and it could be because Burrow's a better quarterback than Prescott. That could just be it. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Bengals. Their defense, the defense is young on the Bengals side. So, and I kind of feel like they'll have more success at doing more quarterback, pressuring the quarterback than the Bills did. Because I was looking at that game, Robert, the Bills and the Chiefs, and for some reason the and I don't know if I know you and I talked about it in the middle of the season or beginning of the season where we said that the Bills defense was scary. It was good, especially when they played at home. But looking at the Bills defense when they played against the Chiefs, I just was like, man, is this the same Bills defense? So the Bills defense didn't play. I mean, I guess they played off the ball and not pressed. as much. I think they did a lot of man-to-man coverage. But anyway, so going back to Cincinnati, their defense is a lot better. They got a player in the name of Eli Apple that has redeemed himself. I don't know if you know him. Remember
I
him?
do remember that name.
They called him the bust, in New York because he was a first-round pick, and he went to New Orleans. They said the same thing there, and now he kind of resurged himself in Cincinnati. And it seems like everybody that goes to Cincinnati when they had bad, years with their first teams, like I know Chidobe Awuzie, was always banged up in Dallas, and he goes to Cincinnati, and he's, having a great year. So, it's something about that. But anyway, that defense is they're not going to get sacks, but they'll rush Mahomes. I don't think he'll have that much success in running the ball because I don't know if you remember the Bills and Chiefs. It was just the quarterbacks that had more rushing yards than their own running backs.
Right.
So I don't think this will be the case where Mahomes is going to have I think what he have like almost a little over 100 yards rushing, or maybe just a little under. I don't think that's going to happen here. This is not going to be the case. I do believe it may be a high scoring game, just because these two quarterbacks. I mean, they're young, and they got the receivers. So I kind of expect it to be a high scoring game, just like it was with this one, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Okay, I got to tell you what the line is real quick. So right now, Kansas City's favored by a touchdown. So they're at -7. I think it's going to be closer, hopefully. I'm going to go with Cincinnati as well. If they can't protect Joe Burrow, forget it. But they have to attack. So if they win the coin toss at the beginning, none of this deferring. Like, take it straight to them. Go, like, balls to the wall. Like, throw every trick you got in your playbook. Joe Burrow, he's playing it the way he should be with the confidence, right? Like, he's not afraid. He's been like, after every win, it's kind of like, this is what we expect going forward. Like, that's the attitude you want to have.
Right.
So, him and Jamar Chase, I think it's going to take like magic from both of them. But also, yes, if they can get the running game going with Mixon somehow against this Chiefs defense, which has they've been the MVP for them over this last half of the season, then they got a chance. But if they can't protect Burrow, it's not going to happen, and we'll see Mahomes in a third straight Super Bowl, which will just freaking kill me. But I'm pulling for the Bengals here. And now let's move over to the NFC Championship game, which will be the night game. The San Francisco 49ers traveling to face the Los Angeles Rams. And the early indication is that the 49ers have purchased more tickets. The fans have purchased more tickets for this game. So it's going to feel like a home game for the 49ers. I think the 49ers have won like the last 6 straight against the Rams. I know none of that matters, but we have to mention it. The line is Rams are favored by 3.5. What are your thoughts on this game?
These are two really good teams,
divisional rivals too.
But I'm gonna go with the Niners, only because I know it hasn't all been Jimmy, but I mean Deebo Samuel. What a story about this guy. This kid. He's young. The defense. I mean, the defense is playing really, really well. I guess it would be a bummer, right? Because I mean, the Rams spent all this money to bring these players on.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, I don't want Stafford. I don't want them to be like, oh, we're the Tampa Bay Bucks of this year. You know how the Bucks played at their own stadium. I mean, of course, the Super Bowl is at SoFi.
Yeah. So, well, there could only be like a first time whoever did it, and I don't care about that. Like Tom Brady already did it, and anybody else that ever does it, who gives a shit? Tom Brady did it first.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the Niners. The Niners defense is really good, and Matthew Stafford, he's been known to make mistakes, and he usually does. I think he's gonna have a hard time with Bosa and that linebacking core, and as far as like the corners, I don't see OBJ being much a factor. But I'm gonna go with the San Fran. I'm gonna go Niners.
I hope the 49ers are watching game tape. I mean, not just on the matchups that they've had this year with the Rams, but to see what the Titans did. Remember that game where they roughed them up, like, and they just made
Oh.
Stafford make all these mistakes?
Yeah.
Like look at that game and see what you could take away from it. Because I think this is what make it come down to Stafford, right? Like maybe eliminate Kupp if you can, and make Stafford try to throw to somebody else, whether it be OBJ or whoever. I forgot what the name of that tight end is with the long hair.
Higbee.
Yeah, that guy's good too. But make it come down to Stafford. Like put all the pressure on him. Like I don't think they'll be able to run the ball as well against this 49ers team. And for the 49ers offensively, like, you know, Jimmy G needs to step up. He needs to hear all this criticism he's been getting this week, like about like, oh, like he played terrible and, you know, they're winning in spite of him. Even me, I've said it, they've been winning in spite of him. Like this is a chance for him to like, you know what? I'm gonna air it out this week and we're gonna show the world that I'm like a legit quarterback and could lead this team to the Super Bowl and win it. So I'm pulling for the 49ers as well. But my brain is telling me that, I don't know, the NFL probably wants so bad for it to be Rams and Chiefs, because all I keep thinking about is that game a few years ago. This is when they still have Jared Goff, where they had that Monday night game where it was like 50-some to 50 whatever. There was like no defense and it was all offense. Right. And, you know, the NFL would kill for that because that's all people like to see. But one of these teams on either side have got to play spoiler. That's the only way I'll be really interested in this Super Bowl, is that one of these, either the Bengals or the Niners, got to upset. Like, give me that at least. If you're not going to give me Tom Brady, football gods, give me an upset and not the obvious. I know everybody wants Chiefs Rams. I know it, but I don't want that Super Bowl.
No, I definitely I don't want the Chiefs. You know what? Like, if the Niners don't make it, but the Rams do, that's fine. I don't want Patrick Mahomes. I don't want Kermit the Frog in the damn Super Bowl. I do not want that. Like
him or his damn family. Did you see those videos of his wife or fiance, whoever, just being all?
Yeah, stupid? I heard about that. She did like a dance or something, or
yeah, but then also like the brother's stupid too. Like, like they're just very arrogant and like bratty, like totally opposite of. And I'm not like trying to put down Patrick Mahomes because he's a stand-up guy, but like, if anything, it's more. I don't want to hear the Patrick Mahomes stands, is what it is. That's really more what it's about. Like, the Nick Wrights and. Oh man, that guy will be insufferable. Like I'm gonna have to mute him, like on Twitter, like just his name, because I don't want to see anything of him if the Chiefs make it. Because he's been like, he was on the Chiefs even when they were bad. Like he was like, oh, they're the top of my Super Bowl chain. It's like, dude, you're lucky it ended up that way because the other teams fell apart. But like he's gonna try to make a claim like, oh, I always knew they were good. Like fuck off. Like they were trending like in the worst possible direction, and if it weren't for the other teams blowing other games, like that team should have been eliminated like toward the halfway of the season. But please, football gods, give me an upset on either side this weekend. Like I'll take either.
If it's an upset, Robert, I'd rather it be the Bengals taking out the Chiefs, because I don't know if I can stand the Chiefs being in the damn Super Bowl again. But I mean, I'd rather have the Bengals do the upset. But I mean, either team on the NFC side would probably be able to handle the Chiefs if they do happen to make it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because both of those, both teams on NFC or the NFC side, their defense is a lot better than, you know, the Chiefs. So,
you know what? If it ends up being Chiefs Rams, you know who I'm pulling for? Cooper Kupp to be Super Bowl MVP and all that stuff, because that guy is like the fucking man. Like,
well, if the Rams make it to the Super Bowl and it's Rams Chiefs, and I think for sure Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald are going to have a field day, and then Von Miller will probably participate as well.
Oh yeah. I think they're a better matchup defensively for the Chiefs and the Niners.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you know, more on the upset, I'm hoping more on just the AFC where the Bengals take out the Chiefs. But if it just so happens it doesn't go my way, because it hasn't been going my way with these playoffs, then if the Chiefs do make it, then I would prefer the 49. I mean, either Niners or Rams, but I prefer the Rams because I think, you know, they have that one more up star that can probably, you know, give Mahomes run for his money. We'll see. I mean, either team on the defensive or the NFC side can, you know, I think will handle them.
Well, those are
But
the
I'm hoping
hypotheticals, and we'll see what happens after Sunday. So here's the plan, folks. So we're going to do another show after these games that happen on Sunday. So this will be like just to talk about the aftermath of that and just a little preview of the Super Bowl. And then we'll do our Super Bowl like preview, like full on matchups, storylines, everything. We'll see if we bring on a special guest. I'll look out for somebody, or if you're interested, hit us up on the DMs, hit us up on the SM Football Marks Twitter account, on the Facebook page of Palace Off the Top Rope, or Instagram, Twitter, whatever. We'll do the big Super Bowl preview show, because remember, there's going to be 2 weeks in between like the game and or Sunday and the actual Super Bowl. So we'll do those 2 shows. And depending what the matchup is, so if it's Chiefs Rams, like, I don't want to do a live cast, but if it ends up being one of our upsets that make it into the game, we'll do what we did for the Bills and Patriots game on Monday Night Football during the season, which is a live cast on YouTube where we'll be dissecting the game. Obviously, it'll be a longer broadcast because the Super Bowl is longer, and you'll get our instant analysis of what's going on in the game. But again, it all depends. The only thing that will prevent that is if it's Chiefs versus Rams, because just whatever. That's what the NFL wants. I know it, but not what I want to see.
Right.
Cool. And then, of course, the offseason and free agency, we'll be back for that. For the draft, for sure. And then, of course, the schedule release in May, I believe, is when it is. So that's how we'll be wrapping up this first season of the SM Football Marks. So,
yes.
Anything else?
Robert, real quick, Robert, I think I saw like on your Facebook that somebody or maybe a couple of guys commented saying that they wanted to come on the show. Like, bring them on, you know. And I think one of them, one of them's a Fugazi that's always thinking he's right or something, or knows it all. I don't know his name, but let him come on the show. I mean, shit, hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't turn down anybody, but just let me know. Like, don't talk all this smack, and I say, hey, we'll come on the show and talk about it, and then I don't hear nothing. So it's like, cool, you're a keyboard warrior. I'm a keyboard warrior too, but I can talk face to face, or Zoom to Zoom, whatever you want to call it.
We're only doing Zoom to Zoom just because of precautions and stuff. We'll be live. We'll be head to head.
All right, so we got shows in the works. So we're not done with the season just yet, even though my heart broke this weekend. Tom Brady, I wish you the best in whatever you decide, buddy. You're the greatest ever. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Enjoy Championship Sunday, and we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Later.